comes on the field. There was one high moment offensively. This long pass to Langhorne in the clear, but Langhorne, the pass a little low, unable to pull it in.
Just short-armed it a little bit, but his speed was very evident. He just had Braxton blowing off the field.
Now, if you were Bud Carson, you'd have to remind your offense, hey, we can get open. We can get the big play.
They need it on first down. They're not going to get it on third down.
Metcalf twisting, but caught by an ankle and dropped after a yard or two. Greg Cragen, number 71, and Simon Fletcher, 73. A look at the halftime statistics, and it's all in the right-hand column. The Denver Broncos, except for rushing, 35-20. The Browns had the edge there. But look at the passing yards.
Just the downfield throws just haven't been there for Cleveland, other than Langhorne's drop. Again, it'll take a first down play pass to make a big play down the field. Bernie Kosar, 7 of 23.
It's on around 30%. On 2nd and 8. Kosar finally guns it incomplete to Metcalf. Just couldn't find a man open.
Well, they got the coverage they wanted. Brooks was outside covering Metcalf. And Michael Brooks is an excellent athlete, but he's 6'1", 235. So you see him beneath this play to make it. There he is. And it's open, but the ball's thrown behind him. This is the story of the game. Ball's thrown behind, ball's dropped, fair catch unnecessarily, those kinds of things. But they can all be overcome with one big play down the field.
Kosar facing the stingiest defense in the NFL, and they've shut him out so far. Kosar running and sliding to a first down, and what a hit by Dennis Smith as Kosar was sliding in, and he's saying, wasn't that a penalty? It used to be when you slide in, you can't hit a man, that you're giving yourself up with that baseball slide, but no flag goes down.
Well, that's two men playing for a championship. Two great performers. Smith knows what he's doing. He's got this man vulnerable, but Kosar has to go for it. That's the entire dimension of a championship game right there.
16 yards for Kosar, who has rushed for 22 today. That's almost a career high for him. Out of the backfield to Metcalf. And out of bounds at the 48 of Denver, a gain of nearly 5. Wyman Henderson on the corner.
You know, Al Davis pointed out at halftime, Kosar under the center. At this point, he's much more effective than the shotgun. He's got the run threat. He can get the ball off much more quickly. And the crowd noise is not a factor.
Plus the fact that Bernie's always said he likes it. He didn't like the shotgun. He likes to play from under center.
The crowd, the noise itself makes it imperative. But when you add up these other factors, he should be right in there where he is now.
First possession of the second half, 10-0 Denver. On 2nd and 6. Open, complete to Langhorne. He has a first down at the 30 of the Broncos.
They've had a plan when they came out at halftime. They had a plan, and that's to stay in their base offensive formation. 2 running backs, including Metcalf, and work plays against the basic Denver defense. They know it's predictable, and these are the kinds of things they can do to it. Hooking type patterns, play passes, throwing quickly in the flat to Metcalf. That's what it'll take.
Reggie Langhorne from Elizabeth City, state of North Carolina. First down at the 30. Ron Middleton is in at tight end for Ozzie Newsome. With protection underneath to Kevin Mack. And he meets a crowd at the 28-yard line. Short gain of a couple. Rick Dennison was the first man there. Dan Reeves barking it out from the sidelines. Head coach here at Denver at a relatively young age of 37. Carson had to wait till he was 58. He is the winningest coach in Denver history.
He's clearly one of the great figures in the NFL today. A great coach, a great person, but also he orchestrates the organization so beautifully.
Browns with their deepest penetration at the 27 of Denver. The quickie to Slaughter, incomplete. Steve at Driftwater, a punishing safety man right there, and he's saying something to Slaughter as Webster goes back to the huddle.
Slaughter's 170 pounds, Dick. That's a tough chore. Going right in on that slant with the corner rotating right up to him. Very difficult. Mecklenburg coming out and just taking him apart. Now Langhorn, 6'2" and 200. He'd most likely be the guy you throw a slant to.
Brennan and Slaughter to the left. Tillman and Langhorn to the right. Safety blitz. Open in the end zone is Brian Brennan. Cleveland touchdown.
Beautiful throw. Beautiful throw. Beautiful throw.
Ending a drought that covers nearly 2 full seasons. Brian Brennan, who did not have a touchdown all year, on a perfect corner pattern.
Well, Brian started to the post. Brennan started in tight, and then he broke back out. And again, he deceived the opposition with his speed. It didn't appear he was running that fast, but just by maneuvering his body, he was able to get a break on the defender. We'll have a chance to look at it in a minute.
Matt Barr adds the extra point, and the Browns open this second half seriously. They come away with 7, and it's a 3-point game.
You'll see him come off the line of scrimmage. Now watch him start to the inside, look in, and then break out. And Henderson didn't have the quickness to stay with it. Henderson played for the post. Henderson had help in the middle with a safety, but he still let that occur.
And I'll bet back in the East, his former college quarterback Doug Flutie cheering Brian Brennan. His lead is cut, and a good kick by Brian Wagner, and the Denver Broncos will have to start at the 20-yard line. Elway comes on the field.
We can take a look at Brennan's nice move. He'll make a move at the line to get released, then he'll start in, and Henderson will play for it. Then he'll break back to the corner. The key to this is take a look at where that ball comes down. Tozer has to throw just a letter-perfect throw. Right up over the top, timed right into that corner. Beautifully thrown ball for that kind of a pattern.
One of the keys to that drive was Elway's scramble of 16 yards on 3rd down. They give us the winder. Bobby Humphrey, the brilliant rookie from Alabama, injured. Ribs in the first half has not returned. Frank Minifield makes the tackle, and now we understand will not return. Going back to Kozar's scramble to show you what an unusual play as you look at Humphrey, who's out of pads now. That's a sad note for him and his teammates. Only 23 yards for a man who gained over 1,100 this year in his first season. Pat Kelly, the tight end, also out with a knee injury.
Well, Humphrey would be vital at the end of the game, making plays that would control the ball. Not that Winder's so bad. He's had a great career. But Humphrey's probably the hottest running back in the league for that kind of thing.
2nd and 6. Winder to the 27, where it'll be 3rd and 3. I like to finish my thoughts about Kozar to show you how unusual 16-yard run. When you talk about Elway, hey, that's you expect that. But in his last 4 years, his 4 years in the NFL prior to this, Kozar's total rushing, that isn't it, but his total rushing, 28 yards. He gets 16 on one gallop, and that keeps that drive alive.
Well, he had some inspiration to do it because his team was lagging and in trouble. It took a play like that to pull him out of it.
All right, at 3rd and 3 as Cleveland picking up momentum, trying to stop Elway and the Broncos. Elway. Boy, look at him dance in that pocket. Now he throws long for Young again. Michael Young. All the way to the 20-yard line.
That was strictly a spontaneous play. Now you'll see Young running a hooking pattern right here. But the problem is Dixon takes his eye off him and loses him. So we've seen 2 gross errors by the cornerbacks that cost him heavily because it was strictly an out pattern, and Elway's resourcefulness and Young's quick-wittedness made the difference. Dixon dropped his coverage.
Elway called those cluers when we chatted with him a couple days ago. Winder winding his way for about 5. Said there are certain clues we look for in those cornerbacks because they're so good give you those cluers, and they picked up one for 53 yards.
Well, Elway's going to have the continuous pressure right up inside. But he's got time here. Now watch him move in between people, and then that spontaneous move. That time the stunt took people so wide that Elway had more time than usual.
2nd and 4. Little delay to Winder. 10. He's to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Denver. Sammy Winder, the veteran from Southern Mississippi. 2nd to Floyd Little in all-time Denver rushing, getting his chance.
Winder made an excellent job of breaking here and then back behind the play, but the running itself was excellent. But look at the blocking by Lanier. He takes his man and just turns him in. That opens the hole. Number 76.
Elway throws on 1st down to Mobley. Touchdown.
Mobley was split outside, and Dave Grayson went out to cover him. So you had a linebacker and a big tight end. Grayson, not used to being outside and covering someone like that, lost Mobley at the line of the scrimmage, and it was a beautiful throw by Elway. Excellent tactics. I'm sure they had this play by last Tuesday. They knew they were going to use it at that point on the field.
Treadwell adds the extra point. It's 17-7, an 80-yard drive in 6 plays, and the 6'5" Mobley gets the touchdown, his first of the year.
Elway's dropping back. We don't get a real good look at it, but you see Mobley has a full 2 steps on Grayson when the ball comes down.
Oh, it may be a high-scoring game after all. 8 minutes to go in the 3rd. Metcalf at the 2. Lightning quick, but dragged down at the 24-yard line. 80 yards in 6 quick plays with a key. The 53-yard pass to Michael Young. 5 yards on the touchdown score. Here's the check. Mobley fighting his way free. Grayson, by the time he looks for the ball, it's in Mobley's midst. And Elway, who has the rifle arm, a quarterback with that kind of strength, maybe enjoys this most of all. The touch throw. Lay it up there. Yeah. 17-7.
Well, both big plays came on errors by the Cleveland cornerback, or we wouldn't be talking about 17 points.
From his 24-yard line, Kozar goes to work. Underneath, Metcalf.
Well, there was the play pass we've been waiting for, and he had people down the field that looked like they were going to break open, but he threw to Metcalf very quickly and prematurely. Just have to calm down. Plenty of time. Only 10 points.
Well, you have to admire Bernie Kosar, as Mark Trestman does. He was his coach at the University of Miami when Kosar had the brilliant national championship year. A man with his index finger, his pitching finger, if you will, wrapped in a rubber band because of ligament damage, an elbow that's heavily wrapped, that's been injured the last half of the year, trying to lead his team to New Orleans in the Super Bowl. Carricker comes in cleanly for the sack. Alfonso Carricker.
Well, Carricker was unblocked because they had a blitz by Smith up inside that forced Farron to come in and block him. So it was just well done. What should have happened was Risen should have come in and blocked down. So you'll see right here with Smith, they forced this block here, and we could have blocked here. Now here's Carricker completely untouched. So both of the linemen should have blocked down, but only one of them did. It left Carricker completely.
Boy, great job of that telestrator. 3rd down and a bunch. 18. Kozar. Incomplete to Slaughter, who was double covered on the far sideline. And the defense, to the delight of the Denver faithful, is held again.
Well, Al Davis pointed out at halftime that Kozar should have been throwing inside against this Denver defense. He keeps going to the deep out. We had people open on 2 plays of that series to the inside, well down the field. I'm sure it'll be spotted from upstairs, and they'll go to it the next time they get the ball.
Wagner punting for the 8th time. Vance Johnson back at his 35. Ooh, tough snap, and Wagner line drives one out of there. Right out Johnson, who has to go off his shoulder pad at the 35 and down at the 39. Boy, that's the kind of low kick that Johnson must have been salivating, thinking he had a big return, and went right through his hands.
Well, that kind of a kick, that ball can soar on him. He thought he was going to get it here, then all of a sudden it was too high for him.
Timeout, exactly 7 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Broncos by 10. Big lead, first down at their 40. Mark Jackson in motion. Winder met in the hole. Boy, filling that hole is 59 Mike Johnson, second in tackles this year. He had 3 forced fumbles, a brilliant student at Virginia Tech, and so he is on the football field.
He's one of those USFL players that people didn't think really could make it in the NFL, and how mistaken so many of the NFL scouts were with these kind of players. Watch him get into that hole right down the middle. The Browns have been built on Plan B in the USFL. It's made them a big contender almost overnight.
13 players from those 2 camps, 2 sources. Elway. Johnson chasing him and gets him out of bounds at the 45, a 5-yard gain.
Elway has such a great knack of slipping between people. He had pressure on him, and yet with just 6 or 8 inches of space, he finds a way to dart between them. He's a pretty good-sized guy.
Here are the combatants. Johnson will eventually chase him down.
Now there's a foot race, and Johnson gets untracked and finally gets going and catches Elway.
Mike Johnson, his hobby is making furniture. Trying to use Elway for a chaise.
He's out now, and they've got that nickel group in there.
Quarterback draw. To the 30-yard line, and a flag goes down. So that's the call they didn't make on Kozar, but they go the other way this time, and Elway gets the roughing penalty.
Identical plays. These are the kinds of things you have to overcome in a critical game, a single elimination tournament.
Personal foul, defense, number 5, 15 yards, first down.
Kyle Kramer, a rookie from Bowling Green.
Well, it was man-to-man coverage, so all of the pass defenders were looking at a receiver. So if Elway can break up the middle, no one can see Elway running because they're all covering their receiver. Now that was the same exact hit we saw earlier, and now it's called. Wonder what could have crossed their mind.
Dennis Smith didn't hit Kozar any more lightly, did he?
No, same exact thing.
First down at the 15. Winder. Hit, just as he was breaking to the outside. A good play made by Grayson and Johnson.
Let's look again at Elway's run. It was a design quarterback draw with receivers breaking to the outside. Now you notice the receivers breaking to the outside all across the field and defenders working out with them. So once Elway broke the middle, there was no one there.
John Elway is the leading rusher in the game with 30 yards. 25 on that play. Second and 10, Winder again. Into the crowd, gets 3. Bubba Baker and others in on the tackle.
Just by holding Denver to 3 points here, Cleveland can stay in it because it would still only be a 13-point deficit.
His key was to contain John Elway. He's done a fair job of it, his team has, but Elway, the great player he is, if ever there's a quarterback that belies his own statistics, it's John Elway.
Well, another one was Joe Namath. Joe Namath was never rated as the top passer in football with that rating system, yet clearly was one of the greatest passers and quarterbacks to ever play the game. Same with Elway.
Who uses a timeout. Reeves hates to waste those, but Elway didn't like what he saw. 4:32 left in the third. to the sidelines. There's his backup, Jerry Kubiak, with Dan Reeves. They don't want to squander this chance. 3rd and 7, of course, looking for a touchdown that might well put Cleveland away. The Browns trying to hold and force the field goal.
Kubiak is not only a backup and a very able backup, one of the best in football, but he's also a great help with Reeves on the sideline. He knows the game plan as well as Reeves or Elway, maybe even better, because he has all that time to study it. He's going to be a great coach at some point if he'll deal with a financial change in his life, but he does a great job on the sideline of helping Dan and helping John.
And it's not by accident that Kubiak stepped in when Elway was sick in Washington. Remember earlier this year on a Monday night, and stepped in at the last minute and led the Broncos to a key win against the Redskins. He says, when I can, I try to get Shanahan, get some extra time. I want to be ready. I love the studying part of the game. And he says, I know I'd like to be a starter too, but it's worked out pretty well here. 3rd and 7. The handoff to Sewell. He's going to throw. To Elway. Incomplete. Felix Wright was there. A flag is down. That play worked against the Raiders in the opener of the season a couple of years back.
Something was spotted right away.
And holding against Cleveland. 1st down, Denver.
Well, would it have been holding on Elway? We'll find out.
All-star crew head by Dick Kantak.
Defense, number 29, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Bud Carson out on the field would like an explanation of that. Perhaps we can see what Dixon did.
Well, Dixon was on the line right here. He's going to hold at the line of scrimmage, according to the officials. He's got a jersey. Just can't do that.
Pulling the shoulder pad right out of Vance Johnson's jersey.
Especially a jersey, they see it pulling right off.
Winder on the handoff, sweeping outside. Touchdown.
Winder knows how to go for that end zone. He knew just where to go.
Patrick Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, sees his team forge in front 23-7. And you saw the disappointment wearing long on the face of Art Modell of the Cleveland Browns as the Broncos go 60 yards and a half dozen, with Winder getting the final 7.
Well, Denver's run just at the right time for just the right reasons. That was a beautiful job of not only blocking, but as I mentioned, Sammy Winder, with all that experience, knew how to get into the end zone because there's a real crowd right in that corner. And he knew how to go underneath people just at the right moment. You see him coming off the line, excellent blocking all the way. And Bratton doing a fine job, but as he gets into that corner, full speed, watch him go right up underneath people.
And the frustration you saw of the head coach, Bud Carson. He's defensive-minded and helped build the steel curtain in the great days of the Steelers. And he's seen his team worn out by the Buffalo Bills last week. The Bills scoring 30 points, and Carson's defense unable to stop Elway, Winder, and company here today. It's 23-7 as Treadwell sets up for the extra point.
I don't question the tactics or the strategy that Bud Carson's used at all. But there have been some plays that have been reckless and unnecessary by certain players on the Cleveland team that's cost them.
Extra point is there. 4 minutes, 19 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Sammy Winder has given the Broncos 7 more. 4:19 to go. The Browns now must take full opportunity of each possession, and there's Sammy Winder from Jackson, Mississippi, where he owns a construction company. He's kept his mouth shut. He's a great team guy, while a rookie Humphrey has taken his job, and he's delivered today. Here's Keith Jones, plan D from the Rams, and he gets to the 28 and pays the price. Skip Torrington making the tackle.
Well, as worth looking at this play again, the scoring play, to watch Bratton lead the ball carrier right up the field. Right here, we had a guard and Bratton leading straight up the field. Right at this point, he takes on a man and knocks him right off the line of scrimmage. So running a course, he took two people and just picked them right off.
By both Dixon and Big Daddy Hairston. Kozar in the noisy end of Mile High out of the shotgun. Deep down the field has Langhorne and a tough catch at the 45 of Denver. You know, he's shown that throughout the year in the games. Langhorne makes the tough catches better than the easy ones.
Well, he went right up for that one. He knew there'd be a safety man coming up the field, so he first has to elude two people, then break into the post, then catch a ball over his head knowing a safety man would be there.
No huddle for the Browns. Elway. Complete. And it's Lawyer Tillman, who caught only 6 this year. A bit of a disappointment, this number 2 pick out of Auburn. Another first down. And they stopped the clock with 3:29 left in the third period.
Kozar did pretty much what Elway does so well. He got up underneath a pass rusher, then moved outside and threw on the run. He didn't look very pretty doing it, but he sure got it done.
From the 30-yard line. Brennan. Short yardage, well covered by Simon Fletcher, number 73, who is 6'6" and 240.
The one thing you can give Cleveland credit for, they're not going with a huddle. They're not going to waste the time of a huddle. They're going to do it right at the line of scrimmage. That'll give them a chance to get back in the game. And it also forces Denver to keep a basic, more simplified defense on the field.
Denver leads 24-7. Kozar trying to get a quick score here in the late third quarter. Underneath he goes, and it's Webster Slaughter to the 10-yard line.
Cleveland's moving right up. Denver's going to have to call a timeout if they want to change their defense. Cleveland's not going to let them do it. They're going to come right to the line of scrimmage.
You're right on, Bill Walsh. Dennis Smith looking to the sidelines with his hands out saying, what do we do? Calls time. That's the second one used by the Broncos here in the second half.
That was a beautifully thrown pass, releasing straight up the field and breaking to the inside. And this took some nerve to catch that ball right in traffic, and good thinking all the way.
Another timeout taken by the Broncos to try to get the different defensive set on the field, as without the huddle, Kozar marching his team quickly to a first down right at the 10-yard line. They can actually get a first down by 4. So it's not goal to go.
Dick, you almost have to say with 2:24 in the third period, they have to score before the period's over. You almost have to say that because they've got so much ground to have to make up.
Well, even a field goal gets them within 2 touchdowns. Now the Broncos have the defensive men on the field that they want. Kip Corrington, an extra defensive back, is in there.
They're playing for the pass. They have 4 pass rushers. Their nickel defense to stop Kozar at this point.
So do you try a run? Nope. Into the end zone, incomplete. He had a man open. It appeared to be Brennan again, who caught the touchdown pass earlier.
Well, it was just a spontaneous play. Kozar just put a little too much on it.
It was Reggie Langhorne, 88.
See him come to the inside, not a real factor, but when Kozar gets in trouble, he overthrows it. Boy, those are such critical plays, and you can remember them for months afterwards.
Langhorne right with Tillman. Slaughter and Brennan, the smaller tandem to the left. Underneath, incomplete to Brennan. Yes, touchdown. Wait, he caught it. He caught the ball with his body. It looked as if it rolled free on the ground in the end zone, but apparently, as he scrambled, the quick hands of Brennan able to scrape the ball to his body. He embraces 6 more.
Well, that was a beautiful job, releasing up inside, then around Braxton, stops, then goes again. And what a great play.
Are those hands?
But what he did was get Braxton turned completely around. When Braxton looked back, he went zone again.
There was Brian Brennan that was almost the hero in the drive game 3 years ago. He caught a touchdown to give the Browns a 7-point lead late in the fourth quarter.
You see him reaching for that ball, just concentrating on it. And it was out, but he kept it from hitting the ground.
That is a remarkable catch. Brian Brennan has a pair. They're reviewing it now, but, well, I'm not even going to say now because every time I think it's one way from our picture, it goes the other, so we'll wait to see.
Team releasing to the outside.
Play stands is called. Touchdown.
I'm out of my slump.
Just well done. But again, it took Kozar moving, and Braxton being fooled because he looked back toward Kozar and lost his receiver.
Matt Barr adds the extra point, and with 2:12 remaining in the third period, the Cleveland Browns pull to 24-14. Well, looking ahead, as we wrap up our coverage of the NFL, we can look forward to some exciting action next week out at Palm Desert, California. The Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. You'll have President Gerald Ford and Johnny Bench, Glenn Campbell, Julia Serving, and others playing in the celebrity round with Tom Kite and Palmer and Watson and all the game's best. One of the highlights of the golf tour. We hope you'll be with us next Saturday and Sunday. Brian Gumbel debuts as the host of NBC's golf coverage.
Where will you and I be, Dick? We'll be on the putting green there, practicing putting while they're out.
The day you see me on a putting green, I owe you some. Bernie Kosar, man who grew up as a Cleveland Brown fan, a Brian Sight fan, and yeah, his demeanor, the way he plays the game, the way he talks to you, totally masks the competitive fire of this young guy. Wagner again, a long kick. Boys, he kicked off the ball well today. He has not given the Broncos a chance to return. They'll start at the 20. And here comes Elway and the offense again. Just when Dan Reeves might have breathed a little easier. Hey, we got a nice lead here, 24-7. Kozar takes about 2 minutes to score.
Well, it's pretty obvious that Denver at this point is going to have to get field position if they were to give the ball up. Because Cleveland getting the ball near the 50-yard line is going to go right back in again.
72 yards in 6 plays. It took Kozar 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Winder. Hanford Dixon, the top dog, off the right corner to make the tackle.
Great block from the outside on Wright coming, or excuse me, Gash coming up inside that really saved that play because those safety men for the Browns are deadly tacklers.
Dane Gash, that just sounds like a safety man. 7th round pick last year. He has produced.
He's coming up into the line of scrimmage. You can see him on the screen acting as a linebacker to stop the run. Elway's changing the play because of it.
Yeah, so often likes to blitz when he comes in from there. Not this time. And off is to Melvin Brett. Fumbles the ball, goes right to Felix Wright, and this is going to be a Cleveland touchdown. Unbelievable for Dan Reeves and the Bronco fans, and just like that, the Browns are going to be within 3 if they can kick the extra point.
A simple trap play. Everything looks good at this point, and the ball is pulled out just before the line of scrimmage.
And the freak nature of it, you see Clay Matthews batted it. It hit the helmet of Bratton and bounced up to Wright, and Wright scores the touchdown. Oh, no, hold on now. They're saying he stepped out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Wright did not get in. He stepped out at the 1.
Number 74 has reported as an eligible receiver. Number 76.
Here comes Wright with Elway cutting him off, and Elway may have saved the touchdown.
Looks so tight right along that sideline. His left foot actually hit the marker on the sideline, and he had to be even closer to the goal line than that. Right there on the 1-yard line.
Good
right
call.
At the 1-yard line. Excellent call by the official.
So Elway, even on defense, makes it tough.
Well, I
as he
believe
saved a score.
I believe it was Al Baker who made a big stop there and just held on long enough and hard enough to pull that ball out of there.
1:13 left in the third quarter. From the 1-yard line, Kozar with Manoa and Mack behind him. It's Mack hitting the backfield for a loss. Knifing through is Andre Townsend, number 61.
Townsend just got underneath everybody immediately. I don't know if crowd noise had something to do with people getting off the ball or not, but he just penetrated right at the snap into the backfield.
Confirming that it was Bubba Baker that stripped the ball from Melvin Bratton, and then a freak play as Matthews dribbled it off Bratton's helmet. It bounced up to Felix Wright, who returns to the 1. Now 2nd and goal from the 2. Mack goes out, and Barry Redden comes in. Kozar saying, "I can't hear." And this is, we'll see if they penalize the Browns. There's the clock down to 0. They're going to give Kozar a penalty or give him a second chance. Now, in the old days here, a quarterback would have been allowed a fair chance to call a play. The way it's gone lately, they're just giving you a penalty when you try to fight the crowd.
I don't understand. That whole penalty mechanism they put together wasn't practical. Then it's so hard to implement. But on the other hand, it's sort of a cop-out by the officials for not to implement the thing.
Well, apparently they're not going to call a penalty, at least no indication at this point.
Well, there couldn't be any more noise in any stadium that we're getting now.
Even a dome stadium?
Well, not right down to that end zone. There's so much noise with all the stakes that exist.
And again, it comes back to, is a visiting team allowed a chance to move the play, to actually play?
Please return the game clock to 10 seconds. Please return the game clock to 10 seconds.
But they're going to give them 10 seconds to get a play off.
Please return the game clock to 10 seconds.
The game just gets disrupted through this, doesn't it, Dick?
Please return the 30-second clock to 45 seconds.
Oh, gee. I honestly think the only way we're going to solve this in the NFL is to have a equipment in the helmets so the quarterback can talk to his people and use it. Now, it's been impractical in a sense, but there's been enough progress with a system of communication in the helmet that it can be, like so many other things, it can be refined.
So a no decision. It's 2nd and goal. Manoa, touchdown, Cleveland.
What a beautiful play. I believe that was Middleton, the tight end, as a flanker, came in motion and trapped one of the tackles, and Manoa was right in behind it.
1 second left in the third quarter, and Middleton, who was in and out of the Cleveland Brown lineup during the course of the year. A story that you heard last week from Merlin and Charlie in the win against Buffalo. Ron Middleton made the block.
Well, we'll get a chance to look at it, and it was a great job by Middleton going right up inside, and the penetration across the line of scrimmage almost did the job for him.
Matt Barr. It's 24-21.
Good job in Manoa hitting up inside, and what a wild game we're going to have, because both teams can now throw the ball. You'll see Middleton coming in motion here and attempting to trap, but the penetration is up the field too far. But the key block is right here on the linebacker coming to make the stop. So you'll see him in motion right up inside, going to the ground. But look at the block on the linebacker right there by Ted Banker, the left guard. Beautiful job.
Boys, we enjoy the pictures and the replays. Men who have been with us all year long. John Gonzalez, our director, and John Ferratzis, our producer. A brilliant job again today as we enjoy apparently another classic between the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos. Remember, 2 years ago here, the Browns were 18 points down, 28-10 in the second half, and came back and were looking for a possible tie when Biner fumbled on the Denver 2-yard line. And I wonder if any of those thoughts are going through Bernie Kosar. Remember that great shot of him going over to offer his empathy to Biner. And Kosar has not admitted it, but that elbow and finger are hurting him. You know, he's like Jimmy Brown. They say that Kozar won't be seen in the trainer's room. He'll come in at a time early in the morning, late at night. They said that about Jimmy Brown. He'd go in at 6 in the morning. He didn't even want his teammates to know that he was hurting in any way.
Well, that's Bernie Kozar. So he can bring his team back now. There isn't any question about it. And Elway can naturally.
Look at Wagner. He's kicking that right through the uprights just about from his own 35-yard line. Another touchback, and that is the end of the third quarter. An exciting third period for Kozar and the Browns. They're back in it. Minutes or sudden death to the Super Bowl here in Denver. Elway starts at his 20. Wide open, Vance Johnson, the 40. And tackled at the 42, 22 yards.
Hanford Dixon was just almost mesmerized out there. That quick throw to the outside even surprised him. You see him sitting back, sort of relaxing and giving ground. Now he's a little indecisive coming upfield and makes the big miss. But of course it took Gash to really put it away.
Vance Johnson on his greatest season, 76 catches, not good enough to make the Pro Bowl. This talented artist. His paintings now selling in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Elway again will throw on first down. And he's looking big. And Dixon this time had good coverage on Johnson.
Well, Dan Reeves is going right after Cleveland. Some people would begin to run the ball, not so much use the clock, but to avoid any error, any kind of a fluke thing that would happen. But he's got Winder who can run effectively and people who can block, so we'll see what he does. The problem with throwing is the incomplete pass. There's Humphrey.
Bobby Humphrey injured early in the game. Injured ribs. So Sammy Winder has replaced him. 4 wideouts. Clay Matthews anticipating the count. Offside. A free play for Elway. Completes it. First down at the 45 of the Cleveland Browns. Ricky Nattiel. One of the 3 amigos that we don't hear much about this year. Nattiel suffered through a knee injury the course of the year.
Matthews was going to blitz that time, and he moved straight up the field right across the line of scrimmage so early, trying to beat the center is what he was trying to do.
We have a false start on number 6.
Oh, it's going to be against Denver.
Play is still a second down.
Against Jim Juriga, the guard.
I am trying to find it, Dick. I really am. You see, here's where the penalty's called. We obviously see an offside, but I just can't see that guard move. Maybe the viewers can spot something I can't see. There's no movement anywhere.
Well, that's the Tom Mack play. Remember years back, the Rams down on the goal line against the Vikings in Bloomington, Minnesota. Mack, 15 years later, says he still hasn't moved off his stance. Cost them 5 and cost them the chance to the Super Bowl. The Rams, at least that's how they. Well, that's Merlin Olsen's side of the story.
Yeah,
I must say,
sure
it's a bit biased.
Certain, you know, Dick, just in passing, we kidded O.J. at halftime about playing for me and for the 49ers. But the one thing O.J. did for the 49ers is really had a touch of class, and I think he sort of civilized some of the guys we had on our team. I can't say that he was a 1,000-yard rusher at that time.
Well, he said you'd never give him the ball.
You talk about the training room in the tub. He learned the backstroke, the butterfly, and everything else during the year.
Second down and long. Away, pressured from behind, gets it away, incomplete. The hit made by Mark Harper on Vance Johnson, who was juggling it at the 45. So 3rd and 15.
A crazy setup developed there. Matthews, 57, a great linebacker, but not a great coverage man, was covering Sewell, one of the best backfield receivers in the league that time, and Sewell really had him beat. So I'm sure Shanahan and Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, are spotting those kind of things.
24-21, Denver leads. 13:49 left in the fourth quarter, and it's 3rd and 15 for Elway. And off inside Cleveland. Elway a free play going deep. And incomplete to Nattiel, and Nattiel felt that he was pushed. There was a bump downfield.
Dick, the agony that must, the intestines or whatever you'd call it, these coaches right now for Cleveland, they're just on the edge of bringing their team out of it, and they're jumping off sides and things of that nature. Just the agony. I remember as a coach what you'd go through.
97, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, third down.
Robert Banks, defensive right end.
Well, Banks is going to move way early. He's so anxious to get there. He'll come across the line a full 2 steps, and obviously he'll be spotted every time.
Bubba Baker warned his teammates about Elway in his count. He said, don't look at the ball and don't listen to Elway. Wait till you see that the ball actually snap before you do anything. Now on 3rd and 10. That's Michael Dean Terry. He can't catch Elway, who now throws it downfield. Complete. What a catch and what a throw. Vance Johnson.
I can't believe it. Elway running full speed left and throwing the ball up to his left. Now this is where he's at his best. But watch him on the run. Now watch how he just flips the ball right up over the top.
Well, that's the second baseman, a little soft roller throwing to first base, but not into heavy traffic and hitting his man perfectly.
Well, everything's pretty well covered, but when Elway moves, there's a movement by Johnson back to the outside, and they just adjust naturally.
And Minifield couldn't have had better coverage.
No.
First down, Elway throws. This is going to be a pass by Sewell, but he can't get it away. That's that long lateral to Sewell, and then Sewell trying to throw downfield, but well covered was Jackson downfield.
Well, Sewell really wanted to get that ball off. They've been practicing it all along with a lineman coming out with Sewell, and there's a blitz, by the way, on this play. But with Sewell coming to the outside, he'll have a lineman come out with him. Now he wants to throw a lateral pass, which it is. Now we're looking to throw the ball up, but Baker was right there to the outside reading the play.
I'm not sure that was a lateral. Bill Walsh had it been complete, and had he thrown the ball, it might have been illegal, and the punishment coming from Grayson on the blitz. On 2nd and 12. Down the middle, wide open is Winder. Sammy Winder! All the way, touchdown!
It was an all-out blitz again. They just kept going to it. And Winder breaking to the inside. Just had all the room he wanted to run with the ball. Kyle Kramer was trying to cover him. And Winder coming out of the backfield just made a quick move. There was no one there because if Cleveland were to lose this game, I'm sure that Bud Carson would say, why one too many blitzes? One too many.
David Treadwell adds the extra point. Kyle Kramer was the man trying to cover Winder.
Here's Elway with the ball. He's going to have a lot of heat with people blitzing up inside, but he's got Winder isolated one-on-one, and it's all over.
Minifield misses the tackle. Kramer can't get there, and it's a 10-point lead for Sammy Winder, and we'll return to Mile High Stadium in Denver after these messages from your local station. It's advantage again for Denver. They led 10-0 at the half. Treadwell, Eric Metcalf. And he fails to get to the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Denver.
They went to the blitz one too many times. You'll see a blitz outside here. Everyone else coming up the field, but Kramer is not in position to handle Winder breaking across the field. So you'll see Kramer sort of faking on the outside like he's going to blitz, but he doesn't have position to cover that pattern, breaking to the inside, and just excellent running after the catch by Winder.
And Bud Carson defense much too generous. 30 last week, 31 today. Now it's Kozar's turn. Batted incomplete at the line of scrimmage. Simon Fletcher, 73, in front of Kozar.
The offensive line just gave a little bit too much ground, and people telegraphed the throw. At this point, whether the players know it or not, there's a certain fatigue factor that enters into the game. The blitzers don't quite get there. The offensive linemen give a little bit too much ground, and these kinds of things start to happen. Players really unaware of it, but the fatigue factor begins to enter into the game.
12 minutes plus remaining. Kozar, incomplete, another drop. And that's what we mean about Langhorne. He's dropped a couple that seemed to be easy, and he's made a couple of catches that were quite difficult.
Well, the idea of the no huddle that Cleveland went to earlier would appear to be the formula that they need with this much time remaining. Keep Denver in a basic defense, but now Denver's gone in there with their 4 linemen playing all the way for the pass.
3rd down and 10 for Kozar. Down the field, intercepted. Kip Corrington. Kozar flushed under the pressure, throwing off balance and over the head of Langhorne.
Well, a poorly thrown ball. Kozar felt the heat right here. He's looking to his left. Now he looks right, and he sort of lobs the ball up over the top, well out of the reach, and it was Langhorne couldn't come near it.
So 1st down at the 40 on the turnover.
Now here's the running game. Should take effect now.
Winder and the veteran slippery as he moves ahead for 5. Bud Carson, when we talked to him a couple days ago about the keys to the game, he came out very forwardly. Says it's easy. The team that has possession time and turnovers will win the game. That was the formula. Whoever has the ball the most amount of time and takes advantage of turnovers. And so far, he's in the minus pool on both those counts. And it shows on the scoreboard, 10-point lead.
Well, most likely Denver just stay with that run now and use the clock and also get in position to take a field goal. There's a trap.
Winder, ooh, met rudely.
Boy, is it great.
Yard gain.
Dick, is it great to have a Winder on the bench. Here, this fine all-around player with a history with the Broncos is ready to play, that has that maturity to play championship football. It's great to have him backing up the great young rookie Humphrey.
Well, Humphrey, who has learned from Winder, who, despite the fact they compete for the same spot, has been a great supporter of this young talent. And Winder, of course, a Pro Bowler twice himself, 84 and 86. And, you know, it's the mark of a pro, isn't it, that a veteran like that has kept himself ready. You never know when the moment is going to arise, and he's answered the bell. And there's the last time out in this second half for Elway and the Broncos, as he didn't like the defensive set he was staring at on 3rd and a long 4. Timeout, 10:47 remain in the 4th. Here in Denver today, 3rd down, long 4. The draw again by Elway, and he's got another 1st down, and he struggles to the 22. What a weapon he is. He wanted more. Kramer finally got into the turf.
Elway used the blocking that they use on that shovel pass that was stopped earlier. Elway kept the ball behind the pulling lineman. You'll see him come underneath as a quarterback, carrying the ball with a pulling guard and tackle in front of him.
Could have had more. I thought it was going to be an inside the park homer, and I had to settle for a double. He was a 300 hitter one year in the Yankee minor league system at James Mooney, New York. Winder for the 20. Clay Matthews, 57, and others there for the tackles.
Gibson playing excellent football, isn't he? He's tough inside.
Calvin Bratton doesn't want to go back to the huddle. Meanwhile, the clock runs. 9 left. After a 10-0 first half, there were 6 touchdowns scored in the next 8 possessions in the third and early fourth quarter. 3 by Denver, 3 by Cleveland. Cleveland scored twice in the final 4:19 of the third period to get back in the game at 24-21. Second down, Winder. Smacked at the 20.
Well, he's audibling to traps. The Cleveland's getting in a front that's ideally suited for it, but they're just not holding their blocks long enough.
Matthews and Johnson, the linebackers, filling the hole, and now the extra wide receivers come on, and the extra defensive backs counter for Bud Carson.
You'll see a trap coming right here to the outside, the ball carrier coming through, but the penetration inside is just cutting the play off. They've got the ideal front they want. You see the blitzing linebacker, and the whole play stuffed.
Oh, it was Grayson that got there first. David Grayson. Third and a short 8. Elway to Johnson, but his momentum carried him out of bounds shy of a first down. At about the 17th, only 3 yards on the play. Mark Harper on the coverage.
Dick Elway was hit flush as he threw that football. You can see the pain and the anguish coming with him right here. He has a man on his backside. I can't identify him yet. There it is, right there. What a shot. Just like getting run into by a moving automobile. Wow.
So Treadwell will try to give the Broncos a 13-point lead. 34-yard attempt. Kubiak to hold. That's why he's going to the Pro Bowl inside the 40, almost automatic. 34-21 Denver. Now the Kip Corrington interception leads to 3 more for the Broncos.
Well, Metcalf's going to get another chance to return a kickoff. On a couple of them, he's been close. So what they need now is a big kickoff return to get field position to try to get in the end zone quickly. That's easy to say, isn't it, Dick?
Well, if they can score 2 touchdowns in a little over 4 minutes, that seems like a lot of time. 8:22 left.
Well, it all comes down to 8 minutes. All these months of work and sacrifice and commitment on the part of the players and coaches, ownership. Here it is.
Is that what you said to yourself on the sidelines when you were the 49ers? You said, gee, it's the coaches and the fans and the players and the coaches. That's the kind of stuff you were thinking
No, but
about.
I knew the guys upstairs were saying it. So I figured someday I'll get a chance to be very philosophical in the last waning minutes of a game.
You've come a long way since London in August. Metcalf won't return this one. Mike Oliphant, number 33, told him to stay in there. So we've had 10 drives in the second half with 7 scores, 6 touchdowns and a field goal, and now it's Kozar's turn. A touchdown would give the Browns, or get the Browns, within 6.
Just going to have to get up the field.
From downtown Denver into the stadium, Mile High, McNichols Arena, the basketball arena to the left. I'll bet they can hear the noise downtown.
Can you feel the vibration? Gee.
With the fans chanting Bernie, Bernie, Bernie does, and Slaughter gets 9 on the throw.
Just get going, Webster. Get back in the, well, get back to the line of scrimmage. No use talking to the opposition now. Just play.
Here they go to the no-huddle offense, which worked so effectively at the end of the third quarter.
Well, they're not using a snap count. When Kozar lifts his leg, that tells the center to snap on his own count.
Second and 1. Brennan with another juggling catch. Oh, what a magician, and now flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Brennan making the remarkable touchdown catch, but that one will be called back for holding. So the penalty flags have been a bit unkind to the Browns. Not that they haven't deserved them.
It is so tough because that's the variable. When the fouls are called, the infractions are called, it just can devastate a team, and officials are there to monitor the game and direct it.
Holding, defense number 68, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
Ted Banker, the former Kansas City Chief, a Plan B acquisition. That's 55 yards against Cleveland, 5 yards against Denver today. So instead of a first down, it's second and 11. What a catch by Langhorne. I guess the key to Langhorne, you just got to put him with 3 men on him, smacking him around, and he just pulls it in. 13 yards and a first down at the 32.
Well, that was a great comeback. Pressure play all the way. Pressure play. Because that was the ball game.
With 7 minutes to go, and Cleveland down by 13. Kozar incomplete, intercepted. Dennis Smith at the 45. Running back, he's running out of gas. He's down at the 47-yard line, but Dennis Smith, 3-time Pro Bowler from Southern California, and that may be the fatal blow for Cleveland.
Ted Banker is down and looks seriously injured.
Look at Smith. He was running out of fuel.
Again, a ball took off on Bernie Kosar. Smith was just there, sort of protecting the field. The ball goes over everyone's head and just careens into Smith.
Now the Broncos, with a 13-point lead, have the ball in Cleveland territory again. Looking outside and to the 45, a gain of 3. David Grayson, the tackler.
An incomplete pass or driving that ball carrier out of bounds is critical if it can somehow be done to stop the clock. Because every play that Denver runs now is good for at least 40 seconds on the clock. And that's going to be the way they'll win the game. Just run it out and use the clock.
But Carson has 3 timeouts left, but he'd like to save them for when he has the ball. Bratton fumbled, unlikely to get the ball. It's going to be Winder's game here in the final minutes. Behind Bratton's block, he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Bubba Baker. Spend a timeout here. What do you think, Bill?
No, he's got 13 points. He's got to pick up, so he just can't call him yet. So Elway will use the entire clock. And if he throws the ball, which they did earlier, Dick, I believe it was the Raider game. Elway threw a couple of times, remember? When he had a lead and the Raiders got the ball back and could have run it. So I'm sure this time now he'll use that clock. And don't concern yourself with the score. He'll punt the ball down to the, obviously, the goal line if they can. But they don't want to stop the clock. No, he's in the shotgun.
Sewell in there. It's likely he'll get the ball. And he does. And look at that. To the 32 and a first down. The Browns could ill afford that play.
That was a beautifully blocked play. You'll see guard and tackle pulling. A great job by Wydell and Lanier pulling up the field and then still cutting back behind the blocks. Very well done. And of course Cleveland had to play for the pass with that shotgun formation.
They don't use him on the rush often, but he averages over 6 yards a carry to Sewell, and he had the best average per catch of any running back in the league this year, 16.6 per reception.
Another trap. Baker beats the trapper. Wydell tried to trap him. Baker came right around and made the stop.
4:30 on the clock. And this must be painful for Bud Carson and Mark Modell and the Cleveland fans, so hungry for that chance to go to the big party, as Ozzie Newsome called it. That's the one thing left in a great career. And for this man, too, incredible. 29 years with one of the most successful franchises. And Ozzie Newsome, who has been a great Cleveland Brown player for 12 seasons. And neither man has had that Super Bowl thrill.
You know, Dick, this is likely to be Ozzie Newsome's last game. But hangs onto the ball. Ozzie Newsome hinted that with his great allegiance to his alma mater, the University of Alabama, and with Gene Stallings getting the job there, that perhaps a call would come. We suspect it already has arrived,
asking Newsom to come back and coach. And even though he's welcomed by Art Modell to stay in the organization in the front office, and as Art told us, the door will always be open, Modell, we put it to him blankly, said, I would never stop Ozzie from going back to Bama. And I sense that's where we're going to hear from Ozzie next.
Well, he calls Bama family. You can see how tightly structured they are and how much they care for each other.
Here's Elway looking to throw and has a man wide open. Mobley goes out of bounds with a first down at the 16, and now they can seriously start to celebrate in Denver.
Well, Bubba Baker was out there with John, the two of them sort of vying with each other. You see him out there, he just can't keep up with John. He's played the entire game defensively and is weary and just couldn't stay with John or he could have made the play.
And how prophetic that pass for Elway. As Bud Carson said, we've got to keep Elway in the pocket. We have to contain him. He's so dangerous throwing on the run. And the big play again that'll lead up more time. 3:04, and Winder hitting the backfield as charging through is Felix Wright. And now with those 3 timeouts, will they use one here?
They should call him now, Dick. It's the only hope they have. They've got to get the clock stopped or they'll just run right out of time.
Well, they don't want to use the time.
He wants a timeout. Bud does, and they're not looking.
20 seconds on the 45-second clock. 2:28 now on the game clock. Elway wisely using every second. And now it's to Winder down at the 18-yard line. And Bud Carson is 5 yards on the field to let him know he wants a timeout here. And his clock is stopped with 2:10. And they'll have the 2-minute timeout as well.
Well, excellent play calling by the coaches. They're trapping.
Timeout. 18-yard line. Excuse me, 3rd down and 13 with 2:10 to go. Elway to Sewell. Minifield trips him up. And he goes out of bounds. Oh, my. That is a break for Cleveland, although it really only stayed 3 seconds because the 2-minute timeout is coming up after the 3 ticks on the clock. Here comes Treadwell, who will take us to the 2-minute mark with a field goal that might well put this game away. More than a 2-touchdown lead. The Broncos should be on their way to New Orleans.
Well, they'll be better this time than the last. I'm sure of that. They have a better team. This Bronco team's much more physical than the previous Super Bowl teams they've had. So I think they'll stand up better against the NFC this time around.
Treadwell from 31 yards. Made his way to the sidelines. His team is 2 minutes away from another Super Bowl chance. 2 weeks away, and the Denver fans know how to get to New Orleans. They've had 3 chances, 2 times in the last 3 years, and yet to win the Super Bowl trophy. Treadwell lines it low again. Metcalf. Oh. Going to take it out. Didn't have to. And is dropped at the 10-yard line. But there have been talk here in Denver. Some writers, feature writers, have suggested that Elway and the Broncos shouldn't win today because it was so destructive, their defeats in the 2 Super Bowls where they were bombed out by the Giants and the Redskins, and it hurt the whole image of the city, the pride of the city. Well, here's Dan Reeves' answer to those people who said don't win today.
Well, Dick, but you can count on one hand the people that really bought that song and dance about Denver shouldn't go to the Super Bowl because it might be disappointing. They've got great fans here and they believe in their team.
Pat Bowlen had the answer. Well, those people are not fans who think that. Down goes Kozar at the 1-yard line. Andre Townsend on his back.
These are agonizing moments for Cleveland and their fans. Oh, I know how you feel, Bud. But Bud's done an excellent job, Dick. Bud Carson. And Art Modell's got a team that can come back. They've got to tighten up certain features of their offense. And they'll be back. But boy, is this tough.
Out of his own end zone, Mack. Little draw out to the 12-yard line, fumbled after he was down. Well, for Modell, Art Modell, 29 years and such a prominent member of the old guard in the National Football League. The wound has to be deeper and deeper. He came into this league when football was the business. There wasn't all that big money from television, outside revenues. Kevin Mack fumbles the ball as he carries to the 18-yard line. Didn't get out of bounds, so the clock runs 52 and 51.
You know, Art Modell feels badly, disappointed, I'm sure not discouraged, but Paul, he has to be reminded how much people really respect him in the National Football League. They're not equating his greatness to a Super Bowl. They know he's had great teams, and they know he's been extremely competitive.
Kozar runs into Simon Fletcher with 28 seconds. And meanwhile, a team that was beaten, thrashed 4 times last year, embarrassed as they went 8-8. So the major changes were made. Patrick Bowlen says get players. Dan Reeves had the courage to fire a long-time assistant, Joe Collier. Veterans like Mike Harden were cut away, and this team rebuilt and is on its way to the Super Bowl. And indeed, if you would have said those words back in the summer, you would have gotten long price money. They were not favorites by any means.
Well, they've never just demonstrated they're real big, tough athlete. They've never had that, so they've done it on guile and almost mirrors and Elway. Well, now they've got the strength. They've got the power on defense. Their offensive line, although young, is big and strong. So they're going to be a very viable competitor in New Orleans.
We hope you'll stay with us for the post game. We'll have the presentation of the Lamar Hunt Trophy. We'll get the reaction of these Broncos and hopefully the Browns as well. And John Elway, what a game. Bernie Kosar, the players around the league have such admiration for Kosar. But when you talk about a winning quarterback, a guy that if you just had one game and you wanted him to be in there, Elway has shown again today why he has such high regard. And with the first down, the Broncos kneel it. Elway, obviously the game's most valuable player, has the final call. He looks for those he respects. He and Kosar are fairly close friends, golfing buddies. The final seconds tick away and all the hopes of Cleveland. And the Browns fans can now only watch the Broncos celebrate another Super Bowl chance. 3 times in 4 years. The Denver Broncos, best of the AFC. And we'll return to Mile High Stadium in Denver for the championship trophy in a moment.